Numeraria assistant is a celibate member of Opus Dei. We're just like any other member. We have the same vocation, although we do have a little bit of a different availability. We are available to take care of the centers of Opus Dei and really make them a home 100% and full-time, I guess you could say. And really I do see myself as the mother of Opus Dei. I mean, I'm not the only one, that's for sure, but I do enjoy making sure that this home really does look like a home, that doesn't look like, you know, some institution or something like that, that it's decorated well, that it's got a beautiful appearance, that it's nice to come home to, and that the other members of Opus Dei that maybe work outside of the home, a lot of them do, are able to come home and know that those things are going to be taken care of. You know, like they're going to have good food. You know, they're going to always have food that's made, prepared well, on time, that they're going to have their laundry taken care of, that the house is going to be clean. You know, because when you're worried about those things getting done, then you're probably not doing your professional work so well, or vice versa. You know, something's probably missed. So I'm there to take care of that. And, you know, you could say, well, couldn't anyone just be hired to take care of the centers of Opus Dei? Well, yeah, you know, and actually a lot of centers in the United States do not have numeraria assistants, which is unfortunate. But some of the men's centers and some of the women's centers do, and I feel that I can add that special touch by praying for those people, which is not something that you can hire someone to do.
It's a very traditional idea of women's work. Does that bother you?
No, not at all. I thoroughly enjoy it. So, you know, it's too bad what the society right now in the United States is kind of pushing the woman not to feel like she has to be at home. I don't feel like I have to be at home. I want to be at home. And I wish a lot of other women felt that way too, you know, that they saw it as a profession, that they saw it as something very important to society and to culture even, because you can see a lot of times now kids don't have mothers that really, really, you know, care for them in that way. They don't have a home to go to right after school that is just open there for them. And, you know, I think if we get back to that, I know that my mother stayed home, you know, and I really appreciated it. And I think that's what made me realize that this is a real profession, that it's a real job, that, you know, my dad never came home and said, you know, what have you been doing all day? I mean, he knew that she was really busy. I like to always try to remember to do it for the right reason, you know, because that gives it even more, I think it gives it even more, you know, like clout, you know. I'm doing this for God, and that also takes care of a lot of, you know, like when something doesn't turn out well, then you're not so hard on yourself. Look, I did my best. I'm doing this for God. I'm not doing this for so-and-so or so-and-so. You know, it's not trying to, you know, please anyone in that sense. I'm doing it for the right reason, and it makes it a lot easier. I was looking for a job between my junior and senior year of high school, and a friend of mine told me, since I was interested in the hospitality industry, that there were some conference centers around the United States of Opus Dei. If I was interested, they had training programs for high school girls, and I could work there. Possibly she could help me get a job. So I did, and I ended up working where I'm actually living right now and working full-time. So I guess I liked it a lot, right? But I went there for the whole summer in between that junior and senior year and enjoyed it a lot. I learned a lot about cooking, cleaning, you know, everything that I was kind of interested in anyway. Then I started thinking, you know, this could be something that God's calling me to. I had a little bit of a distraction there at that point too, because I had a very serious boyfriend that I considered marrying, you know, and having a big family with. So this was something that I was thinking about also, you know, like, well, I wonder if God would be asking me to do something different than what I'm inclined to, because that's what I wanted all my life, you know. I had seen the dedication of my parents and everything, and I thought that's what I want. And so on that plane ride home, you know, it hit me, you know, like, whoa, I should pray about this more because this might be what he's looking for. And anyway, I got off the plane. My boyfriend was there to pick me up, and I was so excited, you know. I told him everything about the summer and everything that I had learned. Anyway, so he called that night. He was so mad once I had told him, you know, hung up the phone. I can't believe you would do this to me, Andrea, type thing, you know. And, you know, I thought, great, okay, now I don't have him. I'm kind of lost. I'm not sure what I'm doing, you know. But then he called back an hour later and said, you know, Andrea, I could have lost you to anybody, you know, up in Chicago. You're there for a whole summer and everything, but I lost you to God. You know, what better, you know, person could I lose you to? And I'm behind you 100% of the way. And I thank him for that every day of my life.
Have there ever been any moments of doubt?
No. Not doubt against whether God called me or not. There's always going to be that little bit of a struggle, and it's funny because I was just telling this to somebody the other day, that, you know, anybody thinks, you know, like, oh gosh, I should have married the first boyfriend I had rather than the fifth boyfriend I had. Or, you know, if I didn't have all these kids, maybe I could be doing this with my career. And, you know, I mean, those silly little thoughts will come in every once in a while, but that's like the moment that you have to just say, no, wait a minute, this is what I'm doing with my life. This is what God wants me to do. And you have to pray more in those times, because I think that's what society doesn't do right now. They don't rely on what God has planned for them and rely on that grace for them to go through with whatever he's dishing out at the moment.
Are you happy?
Totally. Yeah. Completely happy.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's hard to, like, explain it to someone else, but it's like a feeling that I think you could probably relate when you know you're doing what God wants you to be doing, or you know you're doing something right. You feel good about it, you know. There comes that feeling naturally, I think. If you have a lot of questions and you have a lot of anxiety in your life, you know that you're a little tense, you're stressed, you don't know what's coming next, and you're just moving from one thing to the next. But I know what I'm doing, I know where I'm going, and I enjoy that. I'm perfectly happy. At first, they didn't really understand it too much. Some of them still don't. You know, they still, you know, well, have you met anybody yet? But, you know, I try to explain it the best I can, and they see that I'm really dedicated to what I'm doing, that I really enjoy it. I try to tell them little things here and there, you know, about my day. I try to keep in touch with them often. So they've come to respect that about me. And since they see that I'm happy, that I know what I'm doing, that I know where I'm going, they don't question it anymore. You know, at first they were like, oh, it's just a phase you're going through. You'll outgrow it, you know, or something. But 11 years is a long time to stick with something that's just a phase. So they appreciate it, and they come to me often, you know, like with their problems and stuff. A lot of them have had, you know, problems with their marriages. Not that I'm saying marriage is a bad thing. I think it's beautiful. But you really have to have a vocation to it as well. And they've had a lot of hard times, so they come and tell me, you know, like, help me in this area, help me in that area. What would you do? Or, you know. So I'm glad I'm there for them, because that's my vocation, to be there for the others.